Lore breakdown time. Are
Yeah,
you ready?
friends, so I'm totally ready. Are we? Yeah, is there like any kind of a special bumper?
I think we got a bumper. Hang on, let me find it. This one right here.
What? The bumper of discovery.
Ta-da! That's why
Ta-da!
every time I hear that, I just hear ta-da!
So, friends, every other week, this is what we started doing. Every other week, we are doing a breakdown of the lore lesson from the week before. And this week, we're doing a breakdown of our lore lesson on the Corrupted. We're going to kind of hit all the biggest points in the game. We're going to talk about the lore behind them. And then the next week, we're going to break it down. So this week, we are talking Corrupted. If you need like a quick refresher, pause the podcast, go to YouTube and watch our lore lesson on the Corrupted. So I think one of the biggest things that I want to bring into focus, maybe have a discussion about it, is the fact that the Corrupted are not soulless husks. They're not just an NPC that you kill. They're not just a mob that you kill in the game. There is a reason that the Corrupted are here with us, and they have a history, and they have drive, and they have vision. And if you haven't seen that yet, it's because you're picking up the freaking lore pages and just putting them in your bag and you're not reading them. I get that you can't read them right when you pick them up because there's aggro everywhere in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But take the time to read through those things after the fact. You're going to find some freaking amazing story. So, a few of the big things that I think I want to hit. In the lore lesson, we talked about running into a certain Dr. Theophrastus Bombastus, and he is somebody that you'll be able to see introduced to you in one of New World's official videos on the Corrupted. But a lot of the things that he has to say are very, very interesting, and it really will bring some life to what the Corrupted actually is. And the first thing is that there's no known origin of the Corrupted. He believes, Dr. Theophrastus Bombastus actually believes that they're linked to the ancients. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And Champ, you had mentioned this before we started the show. The Azoth that is innately on this island can go one of two ways. Based on what were you saying?
The type of person you are.
Right.
And like I said, it's not to go that route, but I mean, go to Dave Chappelle. It's like cocaine. It's gonna exemplify your insides. So if you're an asshole, you're gonna be a bigger red-eyed asshole. But if you're a good person, you're gonna be shiny and blue, and you're gonna get to be a nice person, right? But I believe Azoth is that karma of what your sole intention is, right? Like if your sole intention is to reach out power, then you are corrupted. If not, then maybe you're an ancient, right? Because the ancients are guardians. Doesn't necessarily mean they're evil, just means they're guardians, right? So they're guarding that. So maybe they are more just, and the corrupted are the corruption trying to destroy that justfulness, right? It's just a concept. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out, I think.
Or tap the power.
Right.
Or tap into the ultimate power. And I think that's one of the important things to realize is that Dr. Bombastus, one of his big theories is that the corrupted spawned from the ancients' failed experiments with Azoth. And perhaps the ancients had good intentions at first, but those intentions were corrupted. And the Azoth took advantage of that situation. And for whatever reason, however they did it, freaking wiped out the ancients. All those statues you see of the two-faced and four-limbed ancients were wiped from the planet. So the thing that I want to talk about a little bit is something that's very, very interesting to me. And that is the gentleman that you see at the very beginning of the video, before you even put your feet in the sand on the beaches of Eternum. You're introduced to Captain Thorpe. Captain Thorpe doesn't do so well once he reaches the shores of Eternum, you can see it. But the fact that the Azoth on the island could tap into, for good or evil, the motivations of the person. And it's obvious that Captain Thorpe had a very strong connection to the Azoth when he opened up that box in the tavern, wherever he was. I think it's Portugal, but wherever he was. He opens up this box, there's Azoth in it. I think very early on, Captain Thorpe saw through to what the Azoth could provide. Now, was that corruption drawn to Captain Thorpe because of that deep desire that he had for the power he saw in that box?
I don't know. And I'll be honest, possibly. You know what? One thing I look at this game that I love so much about everything that I'm hearing from you is the word possibly. Go back to Elder Scrolls when we were covering that world. And the lore from that game is told from a standpoint. Like one person's viewpoint, it'll vary from another. Right. Lore is centric to that person. That's what I see in this game, which ultimately leads it open to interpretation. Could this be Bombastus's, way of looking at all of these things only? Yeah, absolutely. Could it be completely different? Absolutely. But it makes you wonder, especially with, Captain Thorpe, how quickly the corruption took a hold of him, relentlessly took hold of him. And you heard him, that's kind of a spoiler, sorry. But,
Go for it, dude.
You hear him fighting it. You hear him, the fear in his voice when it's hitting him, regardless of whatever, evil motivations he may have had. In the moment, he had that fear. You could hear it. And it's just, it's cool to see this take place because it leads it open to interpretation, and it's just kind of like still this unknown,
And right, and we perish at some points in the game. We've died in a couple instances, whether it be a bear or it'd be in the expedition or whatever, as we're learning the aspects of the game, and we are not corrupted, which gives that hero-esque feeling, right? Without making you be super powerful, right?
Oh yeah.
You're just a normal human who landed there on the beach. You have a couple weapons, you choose your path, you go. Yeah. And I love the fact that, like the video that we saw where the Romans walked up and they took the thing out of the statue and then they were corrupted.
Yeah.
And then the next group came up, had to fight those people because now they were the guardians of that corruption.
Right.
If you look at it from that aspect, it's whatever your intention is. I believe whatever your intention is, when you grab that piece, that's where you're captured. And I think that's where our character's premise in the game is presented as a just and earnest person. So act that way. That was my another punch there. But it gives you that feel that you are a heroic person and you're normal. Yeah. And that's fun. And it's set in our own history.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Agreed.
I find it pretty interesting that when you kill a corrupted, you do not become more corrupted. But when you kill a lost or somebody who's infused with Azoth, you get Azoth.
Yes.
Right. So I feel like there's an underlying fundamental story that's being driven here, right? That goes beyond just whatever the story arc is, that is being driven by, like, Azoth will exemplify, exponentially increase who you are as an individual, but it is the good in us that's driving us to that next step. And I don't know, me being poetic, if you've listened to Eternum, I apologize, but me being poetic and who I am, like, that to me is the story. That to me is the story. You have Azoth, and it exemplifies who you are as a person. There's one ending, and how you want to end up on either side of this ending is up to you, but there's only one ending. And I think that's exciting. That's exciting to really listen to.
Dude, I am nerd bonering that you said that. Because, like, I am arriving. I had the biggest point to that. And as soon like I saw that you wanted to talk, and I saw when she started going into it, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the room with 4 of the freaking coolest nerds ever. Because, well, 3 additional cool nerds. But anyway, I'm picking up what you're putting down on that. And you mentioned the fact that when you die, say you die to the corrupted have the ability to turn you into corrupted when you die. That's a thing. But when a player dies in this game, you do not fall to the corruption.
Right.
And I truly believe that the reason that that takes place is because every player in this game is innately good-hearted and is here for good reasons.
Yes.
And I don't care if that sounds super Careberry or not. I think that is the case. And the reason that you don't become corrupted, I mean, obviously, if there was some mechanic in there for you to become corrupted, that's like game breaking. But to write it into the lore, it's like this. It's like writing why there's no pets into the lore. There's a lore reason for it. Look it up. It's there. I think that is a reason why the Lost can turn NPCs into corrupted, but not the player into corrupted. And that lets me transition directly into how the corrupted convert humans to being one of their followers, to doing their thing. So there's dying in battle. You die in battle. A few days later, you rise from the dead as corrupted. There's wounds that can cause wounds on you, which fester and eventually turn you into corrupted. You can find yourself in the middle of a corrupted area where these corrupted portals are coming out and corrupted are pouring out of it. And there's corrupted sludge coming out of those areas. And that sludge can overtake you and transform you into corrupted. There's even reports from rangers in the field saying that they've witnessed corrupted pinning down and shackling victims, imprisoning them, and those very imprisoned victims later on are corrupted.
How gnarly is that? I mean,
Nasty.
like there's a certain level in this game, no matter like the intro scene totally bothered my wife, not even gonna lie, with Thorpe. Like that there, especially at the end, like that's raw. Like there's this raw like eeriness to this game that continuously it's a common factor throughout the entire time. It's in the lore, it's in your gameplay. It's sure as heck in Brightwood, which is an amazing zone in itself. I mean, like there is an eeriness that carries with you, that it's, you know, and an intensity that comes along with that. It's hard to beat that. It's hard to get away from that.
And they have the ability to communicate. They have churches. They have congregation areas.
Mm-hmm.
The miners have bowmen that watch over them while they mine.
Right.
Right.
They are not out of control. They are doing things in a manner as which that you would do. When I walked up to that mine where you have to disrupt their mining operations, and they have a miner standing there and there's a bowman within aggro distance of that miner, that is well thought out, because that is what they would be doing. The corrupted, just because you don't understand their language and their intention, does not mean they're not intelligent. It doesn't mean that they don't have a premise or purpose, because they do. And I cannot wait to uncover that.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for them to give us the understanding of their language. What if when you get to a certain point in the game, you actually can hear what they're saying?
Oh my
How
God.
amazing would that be?
Oh, that'd be cool.
If you were able to find maybe a series of books that gave you the ability to hear their language in your understanding. How amazing and immersive would that be?
I can't do 2 nerd boners in a show.
Well, you just did. And you know what? You're probably going to have a third one because we haven't done yet. But my point is we know that they developed a language for all of these.
4,000.
Every single one of them have a language. What happens when you can understand the language? What if you find books in libraries and churches that are encompassed by the corrupted or by the lost or by the ancients, and you have to fight through expeditions or raids or whatever that might look like, and you have to find these pages there that are hidden.
Yeah.
And then once you find them all, when they talk, you can understand them.
Oh my God, dude.
How much would that change your game?
Oh, that's awesome.
What I'm saying is they have the footprint for this. They could do that.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
go that route. Take it to that level. Make me feel like I'm watching a movie while I'm playing it. To watch my wife sit and play this game who has never played a game before in her life, to enjoy it, to be immersed herself, this is the greatest game of my generation because it brought my wife into the game. She's never played a video game, not even a phone game. JB's wife is in the game.
Mm-hmm.
These are two people who don't play games that want to be a part of this game because it's so amazing. And the reason why it's amazing is because there's depth. If you come up to me and tell me there's no lore in this game, we fight.
Amazon did that, champ. Amazon did that.
Yes.
The same people.
So crazy.
The same people that send me my hair restoration cream in 2 days.
What hair? What hair?
I didn't know we
Just
were
kidding.
doing this.
I don't use that anymore. Those days are over. I'm just like,
Right.
I could get whatever the F I want in 2 freaking days. It's that company that did this.
Yes.
That's profound.
Yes.
I'm
and
sorry.
to give us a world where we go into, dude, I sit at work, cannot wait to get in this game.
Yeah.
Right. And when I'm in the game, I regret the fact that I have to go to bed. And that is funny, dude, but I'm like, I got an hour left.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, absolutely.
This game is fun, dude. This
It's
game is fun.
freaking sexy, dude. It is.
Absolutely.
And I don't recall the quote, but 4,000 different antonations of vocabulary for every single like race that's in the game. It's already there. It's there. They've already created it. This is Lord of the Rings type development on language. So to your point, champ, it's there. I'm curious where it goes. You would not spend this kind of development tools and assets. You would not develop or spend the time and the money to develop 4,000 different languages to not do anything with it. So I think we're in for it. I think we're in for a very special surprise that I think will probably tie into exactly what you just said. Otherwise, why would you do it? Why would you invest in it if it wasn't for something larger than what we're thinking of right now?
It's there. It's coming. And
It's already
I'm
there.
telling you, you can, there are small hints. And some of the small hints are the corrupted, like I said, they're not soulless husks. They have towns, they have camps, they have settlements, they have crafters, they have smiths, they have alchemists, they have scientists. They seem to have taken on a new life after their death, but kept the skills that they had in life. And part of that is the fact that they build. Now, it's not just the language, but it's written. It's not just a spoken language, but it's written. So there's symbols on the obelisks that they build. You can hear them. You can hear the mobs when you get close. When they finally aggro you, they are yelling something in some type of a foreign tongue that we don't know what is. And I love the fact that Champ said that. I would love to be able to know exactly what they are saying.
Yeah. It would be great.
The languages that are in this game, they are there. And to your point, Solus, you're right. This harkens me back to the Silmarillion. I mean, like super complicated, right? A tough read, but man, does it lay down the foundation for some incredible races in Lord of the Rings. Why can they not do that here? This game's going to be here for a long time, and they are building the foundation for this now. So those 4,000 that you're talking about, that's an infinite amount of work. But just imagine the depth that it provides to freaking nerds like us who are like completely okay with this and want to translate what's written on an obelisk or wants to know what freaking Dragzog means when you wave Dragzog, or freaking cheese roll. I want to know what the F those things mean. I want to know what the corrupted are saying. and they're building that into this game. It's there. It's just they haven't released it yet.
There's nothing but time. There's nothing but time. And I look forward to seeing how they continue to develop these things, how they expand it, how they grow it. You know, we've seen the leaked footage. It's a given. You know, like we've seen the desert area. We know that's going to be coming at some point. We fully expect at some point there to be something involving naval, you know, kind of sea content, something to that effect. Like, it's going to be one heck of a ride. 100%.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think the takeaway from this, friends, as we close up the lore of the breakdown of this lore lesson, is don't take the mobs in this game as just mobs. Now, like, you know, okay, elk and cow elk and turkeys, for F's sake, right? Okay, those are just mobs. Like, those are innate creatures that you're going to take for their skins, but
not Reekwater turkeys. Those are bosses. Those are straight up bosses that I've died to.
Mini boss,
please.
Right? Mini boss.
Mercy.
So, and like, we're gonna have more of a story to tell, and you're gonna find your own story, friends, when you're out there traveling and exploring and running into the lost and running into the corrupted and running into Angry Earth. Every one of them have a story to tell. Like the corrupted have a church. The corrupted have priests. They have a reason they're doing the things they're doing. They're not mindless freaking zombies. And yeah, they'll drop right on top of you when you're out in the middle of the world exploring. And I think the important thing to remember is that when you find lore surrounding them, read it, because there's a lot more than meets the eye. Amazon Game Studios did an incredible job in the past months building player versus environment into this game. Find it, spend time with it, and understand the work that went into making it happen. And if you forget to do that, we're going to plague you with all of the things, because we're noticing it.
Yes.
And like K-Champ said, what if we are the enemy taking over their sacred space, and that's why they're fighting us? And 100%. They have a different language than we do, and we don't understand it. And they're defending their land. Think about that, right? There's so many ways this can go. There's so many ways this can go. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing.
That is the case. Amazing.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, there's so many places it could go.